In the standard 8.EE.7a, where we are asked to give examples of linear equations in one variable with one solution, infinitely many solutions, or no solutions, there may be times where you are presented with a problem like this one, where we have an expression on the left-hand side of an equation, and on the right-hand side, we're supposed to create an equation with one of those scenarios. So let's take a look at this problem, where in the first situation, we're supposed to create an equation with one solution. Well, if an equation is going to have one solution, when we are trying to get one side of the equation down to simplest form and then solving, we need to make sure that the variables are never eliminated or the variables never cancel out. So it's probably easiest in a situation like this where we take the left-hand side of our equation and write it in simplest form. So if we combine like terms on the left-hand side, we have negative 9x plus 3x and then plus 4x. That's negative 2x, and then we have plus our constant of 8. So if we simplify the left-hand side, we end up with negative 2x plus 8. Well, once again, if we're trying to create an equation with one solution, we have to make sure the variables never eliminate. So as far as what to put in our first answer box here, it doesn't matter what we put, except we cannot put negative 2x, because if we put negative 2x there, then that would mean that we would have to add 2x to both sides of that equation, and then the variables would be eliminated. So right here, we can put anything we want as long as it's not negative 2x. As far as in the constant answer space, it doesn't really matter what we put there. So I'll put 14. For the second situation, we have the same expression on the left-hand side, but now we're trying to create an equation with infinitely many solutions. So that only happens when the left-hand side of our equation looks exactly like the right-hand side. Another way of thinking about that is that the variables, after you eliminate them, and they will be eliminated, you end up with some number or some constant equal to itself. So we already know this left side simplifies to negative 2x plus 8. And so for us to end up with variables to be eliminated, then we know that that first answer box has to be negative 2 to create negative 2x. And then the constant has to also be the same, because remember what I stated at the very beginning, the left-hand side of your equation would need to look identical or equivalent to the right-hand side. Now, the third situation, as far as no solution goes, once again, we need the variables to eliminate, but then you end up with a false statement. In other words, some constant supposedly equal to a different constant. So once again, we already know this side simplifies to negative 2x plus 8. If we need the variables to eliminate, we know that that has to be negative 2. And as far as the constant goes, it just needs to be anything except it can't be 8. So maybe 7. So that would be an example of part of the standard 8.EE.7a.